Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is Cultish Tendencies Part 4, and the reason I'm doing a Part 4 is due to requests from colleagues to continue to highlight some of the duplicity of this cult, and suffice it for me to just read from some excerpts of their earlier papers. And what I'll do is read verbatim and then give an explanation shortly after of some of the papers. So the first one I'll be reading from are the Halabi Papers, Part 1, replying to Abu Ruhayyim, dated the 20th of September 2000, and then Part 2 of the Halabi Papers, a response to the Permanent Committee's verdicts, the Lajnah, version 101, dated the 22nd of September 2000, and then the final part I'll read from this cult is the introduction of Abu Khadija's email requesting circulation, if required, of Allama Ali Hasan's reply to the Permanent Committee, and that's dated the 5th of October 2000, and it was emailed at 1602. So referring to Part 1 of the Halabi Papers, I'll refer to one aspect initially, the introduction on page 2, the second paragraph, which reads, when Shaykh Ali Hasan strove to compile the statements of the three Imams of the era in a single book, such that every saying would be cut off and left to the wayside, it enraged none but the lords of Bid'ah and Kutubiyah, amongst the Khawarij and other than them. The next excerpt is, again, from page 3, this time the fourth paragraph, quote, and there is no doubt that the Permanent Committee and its members, in our view, are people of knowledge and excellence who are deserving of respect and love. But that does not at the same time necessitate that they are free from error and that their sayings are representative of the absolute truth, since consideration is given to evidence. And as the reader will see in what is yet to come of Shaykh Ali's reply in the next paper, the evidence is actually with Shaykh Ali Hasan, since his view is but the view of the two notable Imams of the era on the issues of Iman and Kufr and Takfir and the secular laws and the likes. The third excerpt is taken from page 3 of that first paper. Remember, it's the Halabi Papers, and it's the fifth paragraph. Quote, as for those who rejoiced most with the verdict of the Permanent Committee issued recently, the 14th of the 6th month, 1421 Hijri, then they were the extremist Murjia amongst the Kutubiyah and other than them from the Khawarij of the era. End quote. I'll now refer to the second paper, part 2 of the Halabi Papers, a response to the Permanent Committee's verdict. Page 51 and the footnote number 61. So on page 51, the final paragraph, it reads, quote, know that those who use the verdict of the Permanent Committee in order to establish the accusation of irja against the muhaddith of the era and his students are either in error or ignorant or jealous or wish to perform takfir of the people or have an innovation to hide. And it is for this reason you see them promoting discussion of issues that the common folk do not understand, such as Shart al-Siha and Shartul Kamal and Jinzul Aman and Ahad Amal, all in order to establish that their opponents are guilty of irja. Close quote. Referring to the footnote 61 that was made in connection with the Permanent Committee, it reads as follows, important benefit. And we hold that the Permanent Committee has indeed erred. May Allah straighten its affairs. Yet that does not diminish the benefit it has given to Islam and the Muslims, and nor does it diminish what is due to it. However, when it is the case that the Permanent Committee has opposed some of the previous verdicts, let alone the two Imams of the era, with the mannerisms of knowledge and due respect, we do not take their sayings at the cost of opposing those who are greater than them. And this is our stance towards them, much to the dislike of the Kutubiyah and other than them from the brethren of the Khawarij. who wish to separate the Ummah from its scholars, as has been their legacy. End quote of the footnote. Concluding with quoting from their papers, I will read now the email of Abu Khadijite, and the address is abukhadijite@salafipublications.com, sent on the 5th of October 2000 at 16:02 to the Salafis. Subject: the Salafis at E-Groups, Allama Ali Hasan. And what is written here? Below is Shaykh Ali Hasan's clear response to the Permanent Committee, in brackets, the Lajnah, close brackets, regarding their allegations against two books of Shaykh Ali Hasan. The response of Shaykh Ali Hasan below is decisive and clears him from any questions over his scholarship and knowledge. We wait for the Lajnah to correct its mistake, and we ask the innovators to rejoice no more. Print, forward, and distribute if you feel it necessary. And then in big bold letters, Al-Allama Ali Hasan Al-Halabi responds to the Lajnah. End of quote of that excerpt of the email, which then quotes Ali Hasan's defense. And while looking through these papers, something actually dawned on me, or served as a reminder, whichever one I'm trying to work out, because I've looked at this before. And what I've noticed is that the many accusations, slanderous accusations against Brixton, myself, Luton, our brothers in America, with us at Brixton, it's we're the defenders of Ali Hasan al-Halabi. However, when you look at this cult, you'll see that from the Halabi Papers, part 1, it's 52 pages long. The Halabi Papers, part 2, is 52 pages long. You've got TabyeenKadhib, which is a refutation on a particular individual, which is 45 pages long. And the reason I refer to that particular paper is because not only is a defense of Shaykh Ali Hasan mentioned, and of course our Imam Al-Albani, rahimahullah, but there's also something quite interesting here when we're talking about defending Ahlul Bidah, as they call them, and such like. And I want to read from something from them so that it can be clear regarding defending Ahlul Bidah, as they keep saying, and the ones who have done that moreover. So, for example, we have here a quote on page 37, the final paragraph, and I'm only going to read part of the sentence to highlight some of their defenses. And hence, a person's iman is dependent upon a single good deed. Without it, a person's iman is non-existent. In short, this is the belief of the Khawarij who perform takfir of the abandonment of the outward obligatory duties. However, it has come disguised in a new form, save that this new saying is worse, since it necessitates takfir of the one who abandons the smallest of good actions, such as those mentioned above. And our Mashaykh have explained this in detail, walhamdulillah, such as Shaykh Abul Hasan al-Ma'rabi, who has explained that this sect is actually a new sect who has deviated on the issues of Iman. Looking down the rest of this particular paragraph, yes, reference is made to Shaykh Uthaymeen, but Shaykh Abul Hasan al-Ma'rabi is the first individual that they reference who deals with that deviated belief that has just been read there. I'll conclude at this point because I think it's clear for the listener to discern themselves. If you want to look and search for the pages and pages of defenses that have been written for some of the shuyukh in the past and present, look no further than this cult. So when accusing individuals of supporting whoever, they have been the most ardent and the most foremost, and their papers are there. And we have to question, why are 4 of their websites down? Where here may be a lie that some virus struck them, but we need to consider another alternative, which is more than likely the real alternative, which is possibly a scrambling to take down material that is incriminating against them. However, it's too late. First and foremost, Allah sees all and knows all. And if we fear Allah, as we should, then that's what we should be focusing on. However, there are a lot of other papers that are out there in the ether, which are going to be reproduced for those who didn't know the issues from 10, 15, 20 years ago, and who have succumbed to the cultism, bullying, slander of this particular cult, using four Mashaykh in particular to lie to them and to further their particular cause. And it will just go on and on. But I want to conclude this particular session now saying, brothers and sisters, don't think that we're going to waste our time being diverted and distracted by this cult, because this is what they relish in. If you look over the years, you'll see there's always an individual or individuals or people or shuyukh that they are attacking and slandering. This is how their business grows. This is how they continue to make money, because individuals come and buy their brand. No. Alhamdulillah, we're seeing something that was as it was over 20 years ago, which is brothers from all walks of life, from different societies, not just America, not just the UK, are now starting to talk about building and moving forward, progressing the communities that we all come from, and just not giving much oxygen to this cult so it can suffocate itself, because they only preach to the converted. Now they've opened their market wider, as we've recently heard from the last Hajj, that they took Sufis and Barelvis to Hajj, because money doesn't have any ideology or akida as far as they're concerned, or anyone's concerned. It's just money. So I'll conclude on that basis. It's more than likely that our colleague whose PhD was in unpasteurized milk, Abu Iyad Amjad Rafiq, the milk sheikh, will regurgitate and come back with some more verbal diarrhea in refutation. But hey, that's his speciality. That's what his PhD was in, apparently. So I won't be entertaining that much more, and we're just continuing with what we're doing. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.